Have you ever heard the quote from Frederick Douglass that says, "Once you learn to read, you will be forever free"? How about the quote from John Steinbeck that says, "Learning to read is probably the most difficult and revolutionary thing that happens to the human brain"? If the idea of teaching your child to read is completely overwhelming, don't worry, Usborne Books More has you covered. The first place you should start is with our My First Reading Library. There are 50 books in this box set, and they are divided into 3 different levels here. This is the very first book in the reading library. It is one of the green books with the number 1 at the top. It is a dual reader, so parents would read this long section here, and kids would read this section here. So it's really a very basic introduction to reading, and there are even some puzzles to do at the back of the book. Now this is an orange book, so it is in the middle section of the reading library. It does have some puzzles in the back, and again you can see there's about 1 or 2 sentences on each page for them to read. And finally, this is one of the purple books from the final section in the reading library, and again has some puzzles in the back for them to do, and a couple of sentences on each page spread. So they're starting to build that independence as they're reading, and building their confidence as well. Now on the top of this box, you'll even find a QR code that you can scan for a PDF file that'll give you even more information of how to make the most of your reading set. Now once you've made your way through those green beginner books in the reading library, you can start adding some of our Read with Usborne leveled readers. We have levels 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now that reading library is so important because those beginner books, those first 22 books in there, are going to set them up for success with books like these. Now once you've made your way through those leveled readers, then you can start incorporating these Usborne Story Books. There are multiple books in each set, and there are 3 levels of these. So this is the beginning reader, and it comes with 12 books in the set. You can see all of them here on the back. The beginning reader looks like this inside. So that's why you can see that you want to have started those Read with Usborne leveled readers first before you get to this series. What's really neat is there is even more to these books. At the back of the book, you can read more about the story itself and how it originated. You can complete several activities, and you can even find talking points at the end of the story. Additionally, on the back of each book, you can find a QR code you can scan to hear the audio version of the story. There's also a handy paper at the back of each set that gives you some tips to read with your child. The next level will be the developing storybooks, and there are 10 in this series. A peek inside this level reader will show you that there's a little more to read on each page. They are building their strengths as readers, and they'll find that the book is a little more readable for these classic stories. And finally, we have the Confident series. This series has 10 books, and you're going to find that they have the same resources as the other 2 levels, but these ones are going to be a little more challenging than the previous level. And a peek inside will show you that these ones have slightly smaller font, more words to read, and are definitely for the more confident reader. Now once they've gotten through this Confident Reader series, they're going to be ready to start with our beginner chapter books, and that will be a really great transition to start building that independence as a reader. Now our Phonics Readers would be a great addition to those books that we've already talked about. These are colorful, silly stories. We have so many to choose from, and they can really work on those phonics skills and those sight words. And on the back of our newest titles, there's even a QR code that you can scan and hear the audio version of the story. These are sold individually like these in paperback and in library binding. These are sold in a box set of 20 books, so you can get 20 of these paperback copies all in one box set. That's going to save you about 50% over the cover price. My favorite way to get them is these hardcover combined volumes where there's 6 stories in each book. They're going to be the exact same stories that you can get in the paperback version, but you're going to have 6 of them within one hardcover binding. Again, our newest versions will have that QR code on the back so you can hear the audio versions of the story. Now another great option and a classic is our dual readers, and this is just one of a few options we have. This is a complete book of Farmyard Tales. It is a Poppy and Sam book, a Stephen Cartwright book. They are classic favorites that every bookshelf needs. This now has a yellow cover. It's gotten a little bit of a facelift, but still the same stories and the same things that we love about them. Now, dual readers have an easy to read line at the top and a more detailed line at the bottom. So parents can do shared reading with their children, and then as they build their confidence and independence in reading, they can read the whole story themselves. There are 20 stories within this book, and because it's a Stephen Cartwright book, there's even a little duck to spot on every page, giving it an even more fun element that you can add to their reading. This book also includes a CD of the stories, so you can listen to the stories as you go, and it really makes a great read aloud book as well for younger kiddos, and a great one to build their confidence with as they learn to read. And once your kiddos have made their way through all these resources to learn to read and they're ready for the next step, contact your consultant and they will help guide you to the next option. We have some really great beginner chapter books for you, some great storybooks that would be a perfect transition for them. And if there's anything that your kiddos are struggling with, or you just need some other assistance, never hesitate to ask for help. That's what we are here for, to help your children foster a love of reading.